Good evening, everyone. It's 7 o'clock, so let's make a start. Welcome to this meeting of the Cabinet. My name is Councillor Shantanu Rajwat, and I am the Leader of the Council. And as Leader of the Council, I also chair Cabinet. Those in the audience, very welcome to you. And those watching at home. There is a lot on today's agenda. It's a hugely exciting agenda. Really excited. A lot of this starts bringing to fruit things that we discussed at the last Cabinet meeting around our corporate plan and corporate ambitions. So it's hugely exciting to see, and we've got a lot to get through. So can I ask Cabinet members as they speak to introduce themselves, as always? And I'll go straight into agenda item 1, which is apologies for absence. I've had apologies from Councillor Ajmal Garawal and Councillor Peter Thompson as the Leader of the Opposition. Can't see any other apologies, so I will move on. Any declarations of interest from members this evening? None. Any correspondence or communications from members that you want to add? No. Okay. Move on to agenda item 2, minutes of the meeting held on 18th of October, and those start at page 7. I'll go through them page by page. Please raise your hand if there is anything that you wish to raise in terms of accuracy or matters arising. We'll take them at the same time. Page 7, page 8, page 9, and finally page 10. Are colleagues happy for me to sign off those minutes? Agreed. Thank you very much, colleagues. We then move to the first item on the agenda, which is page 11. This is the Audit and Governance Committee annual report. It's a report by the chair of the Audit and Governance Committee, Councillor Unser Chowdhury, who is with us this evening. So for the matter of completeness, I'd like to formally move the report. Councillor Dunn, would you like to second in reserve?
Very happy to, yes.
Thank you, Councillor Dunn. May I invite Councillor Chowdhury to address us on the report?
Thank you, Leader. So good evening, members of the Cabinet, officers, councillors and guests. It's great to be here today to present the annual report of the Audit and Governance Committee. As you'll know, I've taken chair of this committee since the AGM, having served previously as a member. So this paper covers the municipal year of 2021 and 22. And as you will have read, we're working closely with Mazars, the external auditors, and we've welcomed a new audit engagement partner, Rajesh Arora, who is working closely with our finance team. The committee and I had the pleasure of meeting Rajesh and his team at our first Audit and Governance Committee of this term, and we look forward to working closely with him. You'll also have noted there's been a delay in the audit, which missed the deadline for the approval in September 2021, so that was last year. And there's been additional delay, but this is due to a technical accounting issue that has been raised nationally, so all local authorities have been affected by this. A task and finish group was set up and organised by CIPFA, which they hoped we would have by September, but again, you might be sensing a theme here. That has been delayed, not through our fault though. So there's quite a lot we've got planned for the year, which you've probably seen if you've read through the report. And I think it's really important to just thank Councillor Sharma for all the great work that he did whilst he was chair. And I'm really hoping that I can follow in his footsteps and work closely with the officers to ensure that we continue to maintain a strong Audit and Governance Committee, hoping to be that critical friend to ensure we continue to maintain our standards. In the cost of living crisis, we owe it to our constituents to demonstrate we're delivering value for our taxpayers, and the role of audit remains vital to give us assurance. So, that members, you, the Cabinet, and residents alike expect. Thank you.
Councillor Chowdhury, thank you very much, and welcome to Cabinet. Thank you for that introduction. I'd like to echo your words of thanks to Councillor Sharma, who stewarded the committee so well, and I know you'll do a fantastic job going forward. And I'm really grateful to you for keeping the pressure up on the external auditors and the delays and the regulators as well. I think it's really important, your point around demonstrating value for money for our residents, especially in a cost of living crisis. And I know you'll do a fine job of that. And I look forward to working with you, as do Cabinet colleagues around the table, as you carry on your work throughout this year. So thank you very much for coming and presenting as well.
Thank you.
Yeah. Are there any questions to this report or to Councillor Chowdhury? Any questions? I can't see anyone. No. Okay, good. The recommendations on page 11 are to note the work of the Audit and Governance Committee. All those in favour? That's unanimous. Thank you very much. Councillor Chowdhury, you're more than welcome to stay, or if you'd like to depart, you're more than welcome to depart as well.
I will take that opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you very much. See you again soon. Okay, we then move on to a suite of really exciting reports around our commitments in the manifesto and the corporate plan, around our green commitments. We are and always will be ambitious for Hounslow, and this really starts that process in a way that is tangible. I'm really excited about all of these reports, and the first one is on page 19, agenda item 4, Greener Hounslow tackling the climate emergency. Pleased to invite Councillor Dunn to introduce the report.
Thank you very much, Councillor Rajawat. So this is a big paper. It's got a lot of things in it because it encompasses so much, and it is so important for the future of our borough. So this paper presents an updated Greener Borough framework and also the annual progress various annual progress reports on our climate emergency action plan, air quality annual status report, and our green recovery annual status report. Rather than going through those one by one, I'd like to talk about some of the successes that we've had so far, and then move to looking on to what we want to achieve in the next 4 years. So where to start? There's so much, but I will start with transport. So we have been working with our partners in Transport for London and other agencies to ensure that public transport in our borough is a key and important way for people to get around and to reduce their dependence on cars and private vehicles. We want the transport in our borough to be as clean as possible, and so we are working with TfL to ensure that bus routes, for example, are electrified. We have one fully electric bus route already in the borough, and there are others coming soon. I've seen some designs for some of the new buses, which are really quite exciting. They're trying to, they're working on improving the experience of people taking buses as public transport. Another one of the key things in that is improving journey times, and so we're going to be doing some quite exciting work with them about increasing bus priority across the borough, which I think is really important. Alongside public transport, of course, we have active travel, which we're really keen to promote, and Cycleway 9 is now complete between Hammersmith and Kew Bridge. There was some changes going on to some parts of that, but those will be completed quite soon in the new year. Of course, we have plans to extend further. But in addition to that, there are many other smaller cycle schemes across the borough. We have 5 cycle hubs and numerous schemes, clubs, things for people to get involved with to help them to take up cycling should they wish. In terms of our clean air programme, we've completed clean air audits at 8 of our schools so far, and this helps us to understand which of the worst areas are for air quality around schools, so that we can then work with those schools to put in measures to try and improve that. We have a Clean Air for Schools programme, and we have a Clean Air for All programme. In terms of skills, green skills, we have secured funding for a green skills boot camp, which will make sure that young people who wish to take up a career in one of the green industries will have a chance to get the skills they need in the borough. And on community engagement, we have our refreshed Climate and Clean Air Community Reference Group, and very excitingly, a new young climate action network, Youth Climate Action Network, headed by one of our younger councillors. So that's really exciting. And that's alongside our 140 environmental champions and our 54 eco schools. In terms of what we're doing to reduce carbon emissions, our retrofit and decarbonisation programme has got off to a good start. Already we have retrofitted 32 schools and 29 corporate buildings, and fitting them with things like air source heat pumps, solar panels, insulation and LED lighting to help save energy and at the same time bringing bills down for those schools and for the council. We've launched our Community Energy Fund, which will help community organisations to retrofit their buildings. And we've spent, over the last year, we spent £8 million on improving our housing stock in terms of energy efficiency. We have commissioned heat maps and are drawing up an energy master plan. And we've been helping private homeowners and those in rented accommodation to improve their homes through the Green Homes Grant local authority delivery vehicle. So there's a lot that's been going on, and not all of that work is yet reflected in our carbon emissions figures. So our carbon emissions have reduced by 2.5% from the baseline, recalculated baseline from 2019. We know that there is still a long way to go, and we have a target to reduce our emissions by 50% from that deadline by 2026, so that we can be on our pathway to net zero for 2030. So in terms of future actions that we'll be carrying out to get there, as I said, that is a very ambitious plan. We have our plans for area energy plans and district heat networks. A key action will be to electrify the council's fleet, and there's some details set out in the paper as to what our pathway to doing that is. We are very excited to be setting up a last mile delivery service, and again, there's details in the paper here. And then our key big programme is low carbon neighbourhoods, and this is all about getting the investment that we need into our neighbourhoods to help council, businesses and our residents, including private homeowners and those in rented accommodation, to get the improvements that they need to bring down the carbon emissions of their homes. That's a huge programme. There's a huge amount of investment that's needed. We're not expecting to receive that from the government, certainly not with the current government. And so we've been working very closely with other organisations like 3CI and Bankers Without Boundaries on an investment model to bring in that investment through other means. I won't go into details of that now, but we're working on a business plan, and I'll be bringing that to Cabinet in January. So thank you very much for listening to that and bearing with me. Just a reminder of what I'm asking you to approve tonight, Cabinet colleagues. So there is the Greener Borough framework to approve, to note the annual progress reports, and to agree to the phasing out of diesel as the main source for the council's vehicle fleet. I am asking for some resources to help us do this. So for a continuation of 13 posts and budget allocation for that, so that the team can continue to do that good work. I'd like an allocation from the new homes bonus to help us commission the phase 2 of our local area energy plan, and also an allocation from revenue funding to enable the progression of the green Green Innovation and Enterprise Zone and the Green Skills and Jobs project. And I'm also then asking for us to delegate authority to the Executive Director for Environment, Culture and Customer Services to approve the wider rollout of the community parcel lockers, which, as I mentioned, is a programme that's going in. So this will be at about 25 locations across parts of the borough. And happy to answer any questions on that or anything else that's in the paper.
Thank you, Councillor Dunn. Really comprehensive. I will formally second the report and reserve my right to speak. It's therefore open to questions or comments. Councillor Shaheen, don't forget to introduce yourself.
Councillor Salman Shaheen, Cabinet Member for Parking, Parks and Leisure. Thank you, Catherine, for bringing this report to us. I think it's an excellent report, absolutely necessary in terms of its goals and ambitions. They're very big goals and ambitions, but you look at what's happening in Egypt right now at COP27. You look at the dire warnings of catastrophic climate change, the world on course to miss so many of the targets it set itself. Even had we met those targets, it would be bringing disaster to our planet and its most vulnerable people and our ecosystems. So, I mean, you've asked for resources. It needs resources. Will it create some tensions with residents who haven't got used to a certain way of living? Yes, it will. We need to get it done.
Thank you, Councillor Shaheen. Anyone else? Oh, sorry, Councillor Lambert, beg your pardon.
Thanks, Guy Lambert. I'm the Cabinet Member for Environment, Highways and Operational Services. I mean, having been somewhat out of action for a couple of months, coming back to it, I realised what a massive issue there is here. And what progress we've already made. It's very relevant to some of my services as well, particularly the bin and recovering services, which use a lot of diesel at the moment, and we have to find a solution to that. I'm very confident that we're doing all the things that we need to do that. So. I'm very impressed by it, and I wonder if you ever get any sleep.
Thanks, Councillor Lambert. Good to have you back. And no, councillors never get any sleep, especially if they're on Cabinet. Anyone else on this? No. Okay, so the recommendations, as Councillor Dunn said, are on page 19 and 20 of the agenda pack. They're all to approve or agree and note, and then there's a delegation as well. Can I see all those in favour of the recommendations? That is unanimously carried. Thank you, Councillor Dunn. We now move on to agenda item 5, and I just draw Cabinet colleagues' attention to the fact that there is a supplementary to this item. This will be introduced by Councillor Shaheen. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Leader. This is the second half of our tranche of green measures that we're bringing in, as promised by our manifesto and by our corporate plan. This paper sets out our green and blue infrastructure strategy, which is one of the first of its kind in London. Now, this strategy has been well consulted over a period of many months. It's been open to public viewing for a while. And of course, councillors and cabinet colleagues have already fed into that. So I won't go through too many of the details of it, but in a nutshell, it sets out the roadmap to transforming our borough and turning it 45% green in this administration, which of course includes our manifesto commitment to plant 20,000 trees over the next 4 years, and it will see us deploy investment in parks master plans, infrastructure improvements, rewilding, urban greening, waterways, and opening up new green spaces. One of the major new policies as part of this, which I'm very delighted to introduce you today, is exactly around opening up those new green spaces, and it's called Grow for the Future. Grow for the Future is a new policy that we're bringing forward today as part of this paper that will see us look to all the unused and unloved land, much of it inaccessible, much of it fly-tipped, scrubland, wasteland, council-owned land across Hounslow, and bring it into, repurpose it for growing food, be it allotments, orchards, community gardens. We found 27 acres of this kind of land across Hounslow, and that's the sort of land that could create around 500 new spaces for people in our borough to grow food amidst the cost of living crisis. And I think it could be a phenomenal initiative for our residents. But beyond that, and this has never been done anywhere in the country before, beyond that, I want to see us link each one of those new sites up with nearby schools to teach kids, urban kids, about healthy living, about where their food comes from, about biodiversity, about wildlife, and reconnecting them with nature. And the food grown on those plots by schools can be used to support children who are often these days going to school hungry. The threshold, the income threshold for households has not been raised in line with inflation. There's up to 100,000 children missing out on free school meals right now in this country because they've not been raised in line with inflation. There are hungry kids coming to school with moldy bread in their lunch boxes or nothing at all. And these kind of projects could be used to help support those kids in our borough. So I'm very excited about that part of this green and blue infrastructure strategy, which will look at opening up new green spaces. And of course, as part of all this, we'll also be looking to the future. Catherine talked very eloquently about the threats and opportunities around climate change. Well, one of the threats to our borough, we're a riverside borough, is around flooding. And this paper brings forward a new strategy to tackle the risks of floods and asks for some funding towards that. So with that, I would recommend approval for this report.
Thanks, Councillor Shaheen. Councillor Nunn, would you like to second?
Yep, I'll second it. And we'll just say a few words in support of this. Of course, it goes very much hand in hand with the report that you've just approved. And I think, it's incredibly ambitious and really exciting, to think that we're actually increasing the amount of the green infrastructure in our borough. Is really positive. It's not just about those sort of things like the hard numbers, like reducing our carbon emissions and things. It's actually about improving our borough, making it a much better place for people to live and enjoy, at the same time as doing our bit for the environment. There's some really important things in here, like the local flood risk management strategy, because even with everything that we do here and everything that other people do, we know it's not enough. We are seeing the effects of climate change, and I don't think anyone can seriously deny that anymore. We've seen much more flooding in London and in our borough, and so it's incredibly important that we have the mitigations in place for those risks, as well as obviously doing our bit to try to reduce and prevent them. So yes, thank you very much for presenting this. I'm very happy. I will be voting for it.
Thank you, Councillor Dunn. We're open to questions and discussion on this. Councillor Bruce, don't forget to introduce yourself.
Councillor Tom Bruce, Cabinet Member for Regeneration and Development. And it is on regeneration and development that I was going to specifically talk about. As that aforementioned Cabinet Member, I do bear the brunt of people's complaints about high-rise developments and buildings and those kind of things. But the first bit of my title, the regeneration, really, I think, fits incredibly well into this these two aspects that we're talking about, particularly this one that Councillor Shaheen has introduced just now. Regeneration is more than just buildings. It is about looking at the whole infrastructure across the borough, how we can provide better open spaces, how we can provide better neighbourhoods, how we can support people to live the best lives that they can. That's what I'm excited about in this role, and I know that's what excited about my Cabinet colleagues and my wider Labour colleagues are in this borough. This is exactly why we're bringing these forward, and I thank Councillor Shaheen and the officers behind this work in doing this, and being out and showing how we're going to deliver our incredibly ambitious aims for Hounslow and the borough going forward. Regeneration is something that I know we are all invested in, and making I know Councillor Shaheen's particular project that he mentioned there about allotments is exactly the type of thing that we want to be seeing in our borough and how it's going to support our residents going forward. So yeah, this is fantastic work and links very much with what Catherine was talking about earlier. And so I very much support this.
Thank you, Councillor Bruce. Anyone else?
Yeah.
Councillor Lambert.
Two things really, a green bit, which is, let's not forget that last year we had our parks assessed internally as externally as the third best in London, which we would have been nowhere near before last year. So that's a credit to the team and to Samir, who was in front of it. The other thing that I think we don't talk enough about is our blue assets. And in last year, we've put the new bridge underneath the bridge in Chiswick, which is now, I think, I don't know whether it's finished yet, it's nearly finished. But we improved lots of the green stuff in Brentford. A lot of the development that we're doing in Brentford is turning it from an old internal town with very little access to the river and canal into what will be, in my opinion, the sort of far west version of mini Venice. So and it's almost there, by the way. So if you haven't been to Brentford recently, come soon, especially when the first stage of Ballymore is open, which it practically is now. Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Lambert. Anyone else? Any other takers on this? Okay, so the recommendations are on page 118 and 119. I'm really pleased that this has come forward. Can I see all those in favour, please? That is unanimous. Thank you very much. Right, we now move on, if I can find it, to agenda item 6. This will be of great interest as well to residents in particular, the electric vehicle charging strategy. Back over to you, Councillor.
Back over to me. Thank you very much. So yes, this is another key piece of the jigsaw that we're putting together. So our electric vehicle charging strategy. So this forms a key piece of our corporate plan and incorporates one of our key manifesto pledges, which was the rollout of 2,000 additional electric vehicle charging points. So we developed the charging strategy, and this has been out to consultation. And so this report sort of reports back. We had a really good consultation on this with various, and I think really exemplifies what you've been wanting to do, Leader, in terms of improving our engagement with residents. And so although everyone could go to the website and make comments on this, there were many other ways of participating, and a number of events were held across the borough for people to attend. And we targeted different groups of people, including those who own electric vehicles, those who may wish to own one at some point in the future, and those who have no wish to own a vehicle of any type. So I do think we've got a good response and from a good cross section of the community there. So I'm pleased to say, most people very pleased with the plans that we've laid out. Some useful, constructive comments and ideas which we have incorporated into the plans. And so now I'm asking us or asking you, Cabinet colleagues, to approve this and delegate authority so that we can get on with this work, procure the charging points that we need, and then get on with implementing them across the borough. We are going to see a shift to electric vehicles this is obviously goes alongside everything I said before about public transport and active travel. But where people do need to use vehicles, then we're obviously very keen to see a shift to electric vehicles. And as we move forward, people will not have a choice about that, because petrol and diesel vehicles, of course, will be phased out. So we have to be prepared as a borough for the big increase in electric vehicles that we're going to see. So that's what there is to it, really. I would ask you to approve the reports, and let's get on with one of our manifesto pledges.
Absolutely. Councillor Sheen, do you want to second and speak?
Yes, I will second it. Thank you, Leader. I am still Councillor Salman Shaheen, Cabinet Member for Parking, Parks and Leisure. Someone had written political assistant on the reverse of my name tag, but I'm not trying to steal Denise's job. I am a member of the Cabinet and the one responsible for parking, and therefore very happy to collaborate with Councillor Dunn on this report, on this project. It's absolutely vital to the future of our borough. I go out on the doorstep, and it's one thing that comes up time and time again. Can I get some more electric vehicle charging points on my street? It's something that's very important to residents. It's also something that's very important to absolutely everything else that we're trying to do. Catherine, of course, has already brought forward our excellent ambitions towards tackling climate change and going net zero. This is fundamental to it, given the importance of vehicular emissions to tackling climate change. And I think you can just to put into context the scale of how ambitious this project is. London only has 10,000 electric vehicle charge points at all across the entire city. We're looking at building a fifth of that capacity over the next 4 years, and we are only one borough. And I think it's absolutely amazing that we're doing that. I think it's a phenomenal task ahead of us. But my comment again is we just need to get it done.
Absolutely right. Thank you for seconding that. It's now open to discussion and questions. Everyone is in awe of this. I am in awe of this. This is an amazing thing. I know it will have a lot of interest from residents. So, residents watching at home, please do make suggestions. We will be strategic about where we place these and try and make best use of the space. But certainly do make suggestions if you've got particular areas. Anybody else want to speak before I move it to the vote? Councillor Raza.
Hello, Councillor Sayal Raza, Chair of Overview and Scrutiny. This is absolutely fantastic, as Councillor Shaheen sort of pointed out. I just want to say we've got over 100,000 vehicles, cars, vans, right across London Borough of Hounslow. If every resident just thought for a minute of changing to EV, electrical cars, all the the major manufacturers out there, automotive manufacturers have got EV cars, so you can make that change, but it is a conscious change. I do appreciate that a lot of people use it for different reasons, their vehicles, but do please make that change. Absolutely fantastic, vital.
Yeah, very good point. And and this is a very good example. In fact, all of the reports we've seen so far of how we can't go alone. We have to do it in partnership with residents, with business, and with others as well. So really pleased with this. So as Councillor Dunn said, the recommendations here are on page 136 and 137. Can I see all those in favour? That is unanimous. Thank you very much, colleagues. We now move on to another really exciting report. This is a real cornerstone of our manifesto. I'm going to say that a lot this evening, as you can tell. I'm incredibly excited about this one. I think I could talk about this, but I don't want to take Councillor Bath's thunder. So I will hand over to Councillor Bath to tell us about the Youth Skills and Employment Guarantee Strategic Business Case.
Thank you, Leader. Yeah, I'm Councillor Lily Bath, the portfolio holder for Children, Learning and Employment. Yes, I'm really excited about this, as well as all the other reports as well. But this one in particular, because as you will remember, we made a manifesto pledge around improving employment access for our young people. And this report that you have here before you sets out a business case and how we're going to develop our youth guarantee. So just briefly sort of outline what's behind this. So we made our pledge for young people 0 to 25 with an good offer of employment, continued education, apprenticeship or traineeship. And we did that because we've got some long-standing challenges in the borough, which were kind of exacerbated after COVID. And we've had some legacy issues with regards to the outcomes for 16 to 25-year-olds with regards to employment opportunity. So what we wanted to do was obviously address that, and that's why we made it into our manifesto pledge. So in the paper, we outline exactly what we will be doing in terms of designing this youth guarantee program. So we will be designing it in two phases. So the first one will be around our universal offer, and to make sure that we have a really good fit for purpose offer which aligns our skills pathways with the future growth of the borough. So in order to make sure that young people in the borough are equipped with the right skills to meet future opportunities. So in that, we'll be able to hopefully improve the availability and depth of work experience, build up our kind of partnership with our employers, different employers and voluntary sector organisations, and kind of building a partnership, a network of all the stakeholders. We want to obviously improve access to information and advice for young people. That's hugely important. I think a lot of young people do say that when they want information about employment opportunities, apprenticeships, etc., it's all kind of all over the place, and I think to have it in one place would be really good. So it's not just about proving access. Hopefully we'll be able to work with different employers, and of course with ourselves as well, to create those opportunities for young people. So it's really about maximising opportunities for young people. We'll also be looking at developing our targeted offer, because we know that there are some cohorts of young people who have difficulty accessing skills and training, and it may be because they have special educational needs, or they have care experience, or they're young people who might have gone through the youth justice system. So it's important that we develop our targeted work as well. So with this report, you have a business case which kind of goes into detail about what we will do and the timeline. And I won't go over through the whole business case, but what I'm actually asking for Cabinet to agree today is to agree the business case, and also to agree the funding behind this project. So it will be the total allocation for the project is about 458,000, and we'll be drawing it down in 2 lots. So recommendations 1, 2, 3 and 4 are really to approve the business case development of the program, and approve the funding for it as well. We will be coming back later to Cabinet around the offer for the younger cohorts, because obviously our manifesto pledge was 0 to 25. This is specifically focusing on 14 to 25, but we will come back again with more sort of information about how we're going to improve that. So I think that's probably all from me, but happy to take questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Bath, and thank you for bringing this report. I formally second it. This is really, for me, our investment in our young people. They are our future. They're, from whatever background, whatever they choose to do, this acknowledges that there are so many different pathways, and there are so many different ways to access good quality jobs. And if there's one lesson we learn from the pandemic, for me personally, and others will have other reflections around the table, it is that there are opportunities within the borough, but they are often low paid, and we need to raise that standard. And this is a really good way to do that, and give confidence to our young people that we are on their side. And I think that's really important to send out there. And I look forward to future iterations of this for the younger people, but also as this develops going forward. So I'll formally second it. It's now open for discussion and debate. Councillor Bruce.
Thank you very much. As the former portfolio holder in Lily's area, I'm very excited to see this come through. It was something that we were talking about towards the end of my time in that role, but I'm glad Councillor Bath has taken this on and moved very swiftly with it directly from the manifesto. Linking back with my current role in regeneration and development, this is a significant area for the borough and businesses. Going back to what I was saying, not just about buildings, but it's about that inward investment and that growth, making sure that all our residents are benefiting from the things that are happening in our borough. And in this case, particularly our young people, making sure that what we're offering them here aligns with exactly what is available here. We have some very exciting, or there are some very exciting proposals on the table, not least at Gillette Corner with the production studios potentially coming there, subject to planning, I should say. But a very exciting opportunity for our borough in that investment that's going to come in, but also for our young people and not so young people getting involved in that area, retraining or training to benefit from that. Going back to what Catherine Salmon presented on the greener Hounslow. Again, lots of opportunities coming through in that green investment and those green jobs. And again, something that we want our young people particularly, but all people to be able to align with. So really good that we're focusing, I think absolutely right that we're focusing on 14 to 25-year-olds initially and making sure that they are the ones that we are enabling to make the best of this. But quite right that Councillor Bath says we're also going to be looking at the rest of our young people, because there is another cohort there, those pre-birth, those 0 to 5s and those 5s to 15 in school. We know we do a fantastic job with them here. We know our schools do wonderfully well. The Ofsted results and our exam results demonstrate that. But all of this we know can be better, and that's exactly what we're trying to aim here. And I'm very proud also to support this one.
Thank you, Councillor Bruce. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You laid the foundation. Councillor Bath's running with it, and I'm really glad she is. Anyone else wish to speak on this? Councillor Lambert.
I'll be very quick. Good for our people, young people in particular. Good for development. Good for our economy. Good impact on the availability of the skills that we're short of, especially truck drivers for bin lorries. I suppose I should declare it an interest. And one of our promises at the time of the election. So what's not to like?
Indeed, what's not to like? Anyone else? No, okay. The recommendations are on page 293 and 294. Can I see all those in favour, please? That's unanimous. Thank you very much. Right, we now move on to agenda item 8, sorry, not A. The update to the terms of reference for the North West London Joint Health Overview and Scrutiny Committee. This is in many respects a technical report in my name. We are part of the joint health overview and scrutiny arrangements across Northwest London. They have recently updated their terms of reference, and as part of that process, it now needs to be incorporated into our constitution. Cabinet are asked to agree this with a view to it going on to council for formal ratification. And I move the report formally. Will you second?
Yep, happy to second. Reserve my right to speak.
Okay, it's open for debate. Any discussion or debate or questions on this? No. Recommendations are on page 329. Can I see all those in favour? Thank you very much. That's unanimous. We then move on to agenda item 9, the corporate performance framework. So we've had a really good discussion today around delivering our ambitions and starting to see some of that work solidifying. A strong foundation of that is our financial prudence, but also how we monitor performance. and this report sets that out, the management framework plus a suite of indicators which are, I've lost them somewhere in the report. So this report is asked to agree the framework itself and then the performance measures for 22-23. Oh, they're in Appendix 2. Sorry, thank you, Chief Exec. I will formally move that report.
Yeah, happy to second it.
Okay. You will note that some of those measures are still being populated, but they should be there by the next iteration that we get of this as well, I should have said. It's open to discussion and debate. Any questions or comments on this? Councillor Dunn.
Yeah, I'll just say a few words, just to say I'm really pleased with the work that we've done and the officers have done on this. It's good to see that we've got a really robust set of a robust framework and a robust set of performance measures in place. It has taken quite a bit of thought to get them right, I think, but with what we've got here, then we should at least know how well we're doing, even, you know, and then that's the first thing we need to know to see where we can put things right if they're not going right, and how to celebrate and then improve upon our successes when things are going right.
Yeah, absolutely right. And in terms of visibility, this does go to overview and scrutiny as well for their site as well, which I think is really important as well. Anyone else on this report? Can't see anyone indicating. So the recommendations on this are on page 340. Can I see all those in favour? That's unanimous. Thank you very much. Okay. Agenda item 10. I've not had any referrals from other council committees. Nope, that's correct. And I've also not been notified of any urgent business. The date of the next meeting is the 13th of December, where there will be more of this coming forward. So again, I'm already excited about that one. I hope for those in the audience and those watching at home, this was useful. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you, officers and cabinet colleagues, for joining us. Have a good evening. Thank you.